Good morning, everybody. It is July the 7th, 2015, and we have wet feet in Wichita, Kansas. Yesterday we got over 3 inches of rain in about an hour and a half, and that's the way we get our rain here mostly. It's rare that we get a stationary or static front that dumps rain for a couple of 3 days. It's all tied to Gulf moisture and frontal passage. So Canada shared some of its cooler air with us. We're supposed to be in the 70s today. We were pushing 100 yesterday, and all that moisture's been wrung out. The ponds are full, overflowing. We've got flash flood warnings, etc. So life on the southern central plains. We are looking into another provider than any meeting. From my standpoint, any meeting has been a much easier medium to work with than the others that we have used. If anybody's experiencing the same problems as Jeff with any meeting, please private message me, and I will get that to you. Private message me the problems that you have with any meeting, and we will take that into consideration. Chris is looking at other suppliers right now, other vendors of. So we'll see how she goes. Okay, today's pretty interesting. It's a 3-year auction. Those auctions are usually good, but we're faced with this run up in the X, W, and X period, and quite often that sets the high or the low for the session for a little bit. So we got the 3-year auction, which makes us buyers today at some point. We've got resistance right here. If we can't get through that resistance, we should take a short to see if we can retest this area right here, this 2420 area. Possibly 29s. You can see this last rotate down in T and V. So the buy, it supports either at 24 to 28 or 20 to 24, in my opinion. The high volume numbers at 02. The low volume numbers down here at 25.5, followed by another low volume at 20.5, which is the actual low volume number. So here's our low volume number. Here's our high volume number. And the market is rejecting prices above 4.5. So the first sell's 3 to 7 on a setup. It's pretty aggressive. The market is higher. It's just based on the idea of failure to get through. 6.5, 8. Second sell is 11 to 15. I do like the long side better. We're going to put the first buy at 25 to 21. Might be 29. Don't know. A lot of it depends on what the E-mini is going to do. Then 17 to 13. Today's news, trade balance, international trade. As usual, it's a negative number, minus 42.7. Jolts off a little bit from last month at 5.33 as opposed to 5.38. Taken as another indicator of how strong the job market is. Jeff, I'm not gonna not change just because of you. I just need to find out what's going on out there. I need some feedback. Okay, we are looking for other suppliers right now because I believe that intercommunication between room participants is very, very important. So it's nothing personal. It's just that last week they changed the software. Big things have changed. We don't like the change, so now we're investigating other possibilities. We have been through 4 meeting rooms right now. All of them have their drawbacks, so we're trying to get it done. But I need to get some feedback from other people. I know other people have said that any meeting's a pain in the rear, but I don't know what that pain in the rear is based on. Okay, IBD tips business optimism index at 48.9. I don't think any of this is the going to be the market's focus. I think the market's focus is going to be the direction of the ES. Greek news. And the 3-year auction. So I do like the buy side better. Okay, the knob spread once again expanded overnight. If we fail to get through near resistance, I imagine there'll be profits taken by the knob traders, which will help move the 30-year lower faster than the 10-year sells off. But this is just a huge market. And again, we have this WX phenomena that we have. So failure to take out and make new highs will put the sell at 3 to 11. I mean 7 to 11, then 19 to 23. You really have to open this damn thing up. We're at the buck. You can see the breakout came at 03, so 1 to 5 would be a hell of a buy, but I don't think we've got a shot at that one. So this 16 area right here will make 17 to 21, buy 1. Then we got this 5 to 9 area. Lean against this high over here and we'll see what happens. But this is a big market. It can have a lot of range. It really runs. We expect 6 to 8:30 seconds in normal times. And there's a couple times a day that you just will make 6:30 seconds. But if you get in early and catch that first move, and you can ride with it, sometimes there's 2 points for you in a trade. It's a big market. It's got the volatility you need to make money. It's just like crude. Gets these huge swings, and the trading community is really working the knob spread. Okay, I put an article up on, what's wrong with gold? Why aren't we getting the moves that we would normally expect off of government failures, inflation, etc.? And the gist of the article is that everybody's too bullish. They're complacent. There really aren't any sellers out there to move the market up or down. Everybody's already long, and that makes some sense to a point. The other one is that we may be looking at deflation once again. Hard to believe when you look at the inflation statistics, but futures markets anticipate 6 to 9 months out. So I don't know what the answer is. I do know this, that it's been a pattern even with gold prices pulling back from $1,800–1,900 bucks, that people haven't dumped or sold their gold. It's insurance. It's not an investment. We find ourselves like we were last night. So the first sell once again is in our 68.70 area where it was last night. Then 73.75. On the buy side, we're 60 to 62. And 55 to 57. Probably awaiting Greek news more than the other markets are. Okay, the euro is off quite a bit. Probably no Greek deal in sight. The euro usually sells on the hopes of an idea. It will rally when the announcement is made, then it sells again. So London, there's your London split. The selling started there, came out of a high volume area, and we're pointed lower right now. So I don't expect a news announcement today. The rhetoric out of Germany, the EU, and the European Central Bank is that our deal's on the table. Take it or leave it. Greece has said we have a political referendum that says our people don't want austerity anymore. Well, duh, nobody wants austerity. I mean, hell, who would vote for austerity in their own private lives if they can go to the polls and do it? No one would. So it's catastrophic for Greece. They're already suffering. Their economy's contracted 25%. They have unemployment over 25%. People that travel to Greece say that everything's in disrepair. The Greek says, hell no, you can't cut our pensions, and we're not going to raise taxes. So my guess is it'll be closer to the European deal than it will be to the Greece wants and desires, but we have to wait for that announcement to come out. So the euro is under selling pressure right now, so the 90 to 10 area is sell 1. Anything above 80 is a fair trade. That's where the volume is overnight. Sell 2 is going to be 20 to 30. My take on it from day one has been that eventually a deal will be made, because it has to be made. Europe does not want Greece out of the EU in one fell swoop. They could take Greece out of the EU over time, and I also think the United States behind the scenes is telling them to lighten up or do something, because they don't want Greece to become a naval military base for Russia and or China. And 2 weeks ago, before I left on vacation, the United States stated that they ought to get something done to accommodate Greece. Now, if our government were negotiating, if we sent John Kerry over there to negotiate, is $60 billion enough, Cyprus? Are you sure you don't want $100 billion? How about $200 billion? And that's the way that would go. So, love to be a tin-horn dictator or a malcontent out there negotiating with the United States these days. You get pretty much what you want. Okay, looking at crude. Crude's going to try to trade lower today. Why? It's unusual, but sometimes we do get 2 to 3 days of selling. The reason is oversupply. So you can see right down here, if we can't get back through 52.64, this break, then our tractor's down here at 50.79. I think they're going for stops below 50. We'll see 50 before this selling is over. So right here, we're at 50.39.38, so 52.50, 52.75 is sell 1. That's pretty damn aggressive. 53.24, 53.50, sell 2. On the buy side, 52 even, 51.75, with the idea they'll be a little bit lower in the day session, but not break. And then 51 even, 51.25 for buy 2. But the reason crude is selling is that there's more supply than demand. And that usually takes this market lower. Not on any given day, but generally over time, that's the way that it works. So eventually fundamentals rule, but in crude oil, it's probably on a day-to-day basis, it's probably as far away from fundamentals as you can get. Which kind of makes it fun to trade. I mean, you just don't come in with a strong economic opinion. You know the general direction of the market, but on any given day, you can be long or short depending on what the setups are. And if you haven't visited Rich's wealth of information on how to trade crude, you need to do yourself a favor. Okay, where is resistance on the E-mini? You can see right here that this 75 to 80 area is pretty good resistance, and then it probably jumps up to 85 to this 95. So on the F1 screen, we've got 85 to 95. This high volume number right here is resistance, then it's 75 to 80, and that's where we are right now, 75 to 80. On the support side, this 60 area right down here, picking up that low volume number at 62, looks reasonable. So we are in a trading range. Resistance has been tested at 75.80 and it's holding, so we should anticipate that we'll get a test of support sometime today. From a fundamental standpoint, you can't be too excited about fundamentals for the stock market. So the articles that are written today are that anticipation of earnings season, and in that article it says Alcoa's earnings will be probably lower than forecast, play fewer games. It's just hard to say. We're in a trading range market. Things look pretty bright. Rallies for a day, 2, gets up to resistance, it holds. Sells for a day or 2, gets down to support, and it holds. So right here you can see that there is potential support in the 65 area. Then yesterday's last rotate down stopped at 60. So 60 to 65 is pretty good support, and that's where we'll start out the day. So buy 1 is 65 plus or minus. Buy 2 is 60, which I think that's probably a pretty good trade at 60. May have to pay up to get in. They make us pay up to get in early. Later on in the day you can usually get your price. 74, 76, sell 1. 79, 81, sell 2. Okay, today's news. Trade balance, minus 42.7 billion, probably not a factor. Jolts, 5.33 versus 5.38 last month, probably not a factor. IBD, TIP, Business Optimism Index, 48.9, probably not a factor. The market will be subject to news spikes, rumors, until a Greek deal is finally made. That's been a fact of life for us. It's going to stay that way for a while. And I don't know if and when a deal will be made, but my guess is looking into the abyss that Greece will blink before the EU does. Okay, take about 15 minutes to get everything done. I'll get busy on that. See you as soon as possible.